answers your question. When setting limit orders, so yeah, we'll use my full long as an example here. So as you can see, my lower limit for this SOL position is set past my range. So I believe the reason I did a full long here is I believe that we could range in between my entry price and this lower price here. With that, I believe that at 220, as we saw right in my own chart, that I believe the price will rebound from there and retrace back up and past my entry price. And so I want to collect those fees, right? So my lower limit is then set past that as a just in case or like an oh shit handle, where I don't want to be completely illiquid at the end of the day, and I want to save some of my capital and work on some capital retention, which a lot of people should be thinking of capital retention rules in this kind of market where coins are alive for an hour and are rugging and bundling and launching at 50, 100, 250 million market cap. We've seen that a lot over the past 48 hours. And so capital retention should be probably people's first concern over, making gains. If you are consistently able to retain your capital and make 1 or 2% in this kind of market, which is just super choppy, congratulations, right? Like you now outperform, right, the majority of the market. And so having a lower limit down there helps me work on capital, preservation at that point, while still being able to farm some yield. That, let me see, and I can pull. We did miss this. So DeFiTuna is also going to be working on a TGE within the upcoming months. They first hinted at a TGE or a token launch. When the Solana chain went down, a lot of people were liquidated, like I said, myself included. And they essentially said there will be some form of financial compensation. Someone asked if there was going to be airdrop, and staff pretty much confirmed that. And so we don't know how farming this is going to look like. We don't know what farming this looks like, if there's points involved, if it's tiered, if it's off of lending, if it's off of pool TVL size, or if it's just on size, which means on leverage size. We don't know if it's off of yield. They've been very closed with that information, but at least they have confirmed that somewhere in between March and April that they expect to do some kind of airdrop as financial compensation to those that were liquidated in that event. So, in my opinion, this could be if you are getting burnt on Meteora day in and day out right now, you want to just park your money in a super wide range, or on a full long or a full short, whatever you believe in, on whatever pair, that you could be farming for some kind of airdrop. Like I said, very little information, but there you go, Froby.
I've got a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
What are the advantages, or how does it compare if you're using delta neutral? How does that compare on a long range on Hawkfi, where it just reinvests if you're playing the same coins, which is Solana and the stable coin?
Yeah, 100%. I'm actually trying to do that right now. So I have an Excel sheet that is comparing my debt on a time frame. So let's just say I'm checking the position every 4, 6, whatever, how many hours it is apart, and I'm checking my debt to yield ratio on my positions. The reason I want to do that is because I want to compare it between Hawkify taking 8% versus the debt that I incur, right? So right now my debt right now is about that 6.5 to 8 ratio percent. And so I don't yet know if how do you put that? I don't yet know if the debt is the same as what Hawkify takes from your Meteora pool. What I do know, and I won't go to Hawkify right now, is that if you go and open a 20 bin step Sol USDC range, you're going to be making, and this has only been open for 4 hours now, with $31 in yield. Um, go to this. And so I don't know if it's worth it at that point because your yield would be much lower because that pool typically on average for me yields 0.5 to 0.7% on a 24-hour basis. And then you have that 8% taken from that. And so, you're yielding 0.4, right? Maybe 0.35 on a bad day on that pool. DeFiTuna will be adding auto compounding, and they will be adding auto rebalancing as well to this position. And with that, when auto compounding is actually in the mix of this and auto rebalancing is in the mix from this, I will 100% probably just stick a very large position on a delta neutral position and at a very wide range. Probably like a 1% range and just let it auto compound and then auto rebalance. I don't yet know what the fees associated with that are going to be, but I think it'll be better than Hawkify in my opinion. It is also the case that with Hawkify, I don't think, and once again, personal opinion, I don't think that the airdrop from Hawkify is going to be very worth it. I hope it is because I've farmed probably $20,000-$30,000 in fees on Hawkify. But I don't think it's going to be that large. I just think they're a very small niche company when it comes to dynamic liquidity market making compared to Meteora. And they're mostly for profit versus being made for a TGE. I think a lot of people will just move away from Hawkify once they TGE. So I hope that answers your question. Like I said, I plan on making a pretty in-depth analysis on my own position, and I'll probably keep this position open for a little bit over the next 24 hours and work on my Excel sheet with that and just check it on an hourly basis. We opened it up at about 325, and so I'll probably try to try to get some good statistics for you in the Discord on that.
Thank you so much. That's very helpful. And
Yeah.
everything that you've shown so far.
Yeah. Of course, thank you guys. With that, they're also going to be adding a really nice tool that I'm super excited for that they actually showed off today, this morning in the Discord. And like this staff is just kind of going at a really, really insane pace right now, where they're going to be showing you how your position gets affected by IL compared to the range that you're in. And that's going to be really, really nice to have just as a visual trading tool for people to show on a delta neutral position on this $1,151, what is my collateral going to be worth at $245 and what is it going to be worth at $219, right? That'll be a really nice tool as well. I keep my positions open. How long do I keep them open? I keep my position open either until I'm not going to be getting hit with impermanent loss or I've made a nice enough profit for me to consider repositioning because I believe that my range has either changed, my trading thesis has changed, um, or I believe the market is going to be changing in sentiment within the next 24 to 48 hours. With that, though, another thing is let's talk about liquidation. Asian is a good example of this, so I'm going to call you out here on this one. He was doing like a 1.9, like a 2% to both sides position, and he was on 5x leverage here, right? And so now we're going to be really kind of talking about how we're going to be managing this kind of small position, which is essentially for you scalpers. Like I said, this might be more of someone else's trend, but let's go to the 15-minute Sol, chart. I can't tell you what the hell is going to happen from this, so I'm just going to make stuff up for the situation at hand. We can see the RSI on the 15-minute is that we're overbought, so we expect a candle down. So we're going to do a full short position on this, right? Full short position on this. $241 is our liquidation price. Now let's say Sol decides to give us the green delta of a lifetime, and we're going back to $280, right? Jup did a surprise, another airdrop with their 50% buyback. Bullish news, Trump says capital gains taxes are going away, and Sol ETFs get approved on the same day, right? That's the situation. So Sol decides to crater past our liquidation value. Now it's at $280. What happens to my 0.8 Sol, right? Or we'll use what happens to my $1,150 position now that we've been liquidated? Unlike a leveraged position, which with most leveraged positions, they're going to collect on the entirety of your position, DeFiTuna only cares about, like I said, repaying bad debt. And so whatever debt is owed to lenders is what they're going to be taking from all the positions that were liquidated. So if there were 10 positions open, totaling to $10,000 of total collateral, and there was $5,000 of bad debt that needed to be assigned to lenders, they're going to liquidate proportionally to those 10 positions to repay that $5,000 to lenders. So your entire position won't be liquidated, but your position will be liquidated enough to cover the bad debt. So this also goes back to being a really stable and what I think is a successful brand to lend with as well as borrow from. No, Froby, it's not an entire wipeout. They and they could get away. Why are you not 5xing? Please don't. Please don't. It's a soft liquidation, right? Like I said, I was lending. I had a $12,000 position and at 3.5x leverage when we were at 265. My liquidation value was like 202. And because of the Solana outage, I got liquidated and I lost about $8,000 there. So it's still not awesome, right? Getting liquidated is not fun, right? But as some history, DeFiTuna is a product of Sol Big Brain. Those who don't know Sol Big Brain, get off my chain because he's like our king in this space. Yeah, he really is the goat. Him and Soulport Tom are kind of the two goats in the space. But Soul Big Brain is the guy that got me to buy Soul at $20. And I'd give him my firstborn if I could. But with that, he invests into a lot of these companies and helps orient them in the right direction. So this is a product of Soul Big Brain. They're responsible to him. He's their chief investor. So he's not going to be pushing a product out that could tarnish his name at all. So that gives me some pretty good confidence in this product. He's been around the space for 5+ years, and he really is a legend on the Solana chain. But with that, I think we're getting